Long, long ago, when the rivers ran deep and wide, and the great forest stretched as far as the eye could see, a crocodile reigned supreme over the waterways. He was powerful, cunning, and feared by all. The fish would scatter at his shadow, the birds would fall silent when he emerged, and even the larger animals that came to drink at the river's edge would step back with caution. His teeth gleamed like polished white stones, sharp enough to snap through the thickest reeds. His eyes, like to golden mirrors, reflected the sun with a cold, watchful glare. But his greatest pride, the source of his unmatched speed and strength, was his long, muscular tail. It could whip through the water, propelling him forward like an arrow, or lash out with devastating force. The crocodile believed he was the cleverest of all creatures. He would often boast to anyone who would listen, which was usually no one, that he could outsmart the river itself. "I can trick the fastest fish," he'd rumble, his voice a low growl. "I can fool the birds that watch from the highest branches. This entire river is mine to command." Every creature knew his reputation. He was indeed cunning, but he was also deeply greedy, always wanting more than he could ever need. One season, the rains were heavier than ever before. The river swelled, its currents churning with immense power. The crocodile watched the furious water not with fear, but with arrogance. "This river thinks it is mighty," he declared to the silent reeds. "It bends for no one, but I will make it bend for me. I will trap all the fish, control its flow, and take more than any creature has ever dreamed of." The river, ancient and alive, heard the crocodile's boast. It had flowed freely for countless centuries, witnessing the rise and fall of many proud creatures. It knew that arrogance was a path to ruin. In the rustling of the leaves and the gentle lapping of the water against the shore, the river whispered a warning. "Be careful, crocodile. Trickery always invites a consequence." But the crocodile, deafened by his own pride, paid it no mind. Determined to prove his superiority, he put a grand plan into motion. He began digging into the riverbed with his powerful claws. Carving out false channels and stirring up clouds of mud to confuse the fish, he believed he could herd them into his traps. He blocked smaller streams with fallen logs and debris, trying to redirect the water's natural course. He even taunted the birds, daring them to fly low over the water while he lurked beneath, ready to strike. At first, his scheme seemed to work. Confused fish found themselves trapped in shallow pools, easy for him to snatch up. The birds shrieked in alarm, their panic calls echoing through the forest. The crocodile's triumphant laughter rolled across the riverbanks, sending smaller animals scurrying for cover. He felt invincible, convinced that his cleverness was unmatched. He was the king, and the river was his subject. But the river had a mind of its own. It didn't fight back with noise and fury. It responded with silent, subtle power. It twisted in unexpected ways, creating deep, swirling currents where the crocodile didn't anticipate them. Rocks, loosened by his digging, shifted and settled in new, treacherous positions. The fish, sensing the natural changes in the water, began to swim together in large, organized schools, instinctively avoiding his clumsy traps. The birds, high above, started calling out warnings to each other, guiding smaller creatures to safer parts of the bank. The crocodile's frustration grew into a burning rage. His easy meals were gone. The river was resisting him. "If I cannot trick the river, I will force it into submission," he roared. He launched himself into the main current, a whirlwind of fury. He thrashed and splashed, striking at the rushing water with all his might, trying to physically change its direction. He whipped his powerful tail back and forth, creating huge waves that crashed against the banks, and he barked at the clouds as if demanding they stop the rain. The river simply absorbed his rage, its endless flow laughing silently through the ripples and bends. It was patient, it was unyielding. And then, in one sudden, fateful moment, the crocodile overreached, while thrashing wildly at a fast-moving bend, trying to block its path. His magnificent tail struck a sharp, jagged rock hidden just beneath the churning surface. An explosion of pain shot through his body. He roared, not in anger this time, but in pure shock and surprise. The river, sensing his moment of weakness, his moment of consequence, grabbed him. It pulled him into its strongest current, tumbling him over and over. His body twisted helplessly. His injured tail struck the rocks again and again. Finally, with a sharp, sickening crack, a large portion of his tail was torn away, lost to the swirling waters. The crocodile thrashed in panic, the fight completely gone from him. The river carried him downstream, wounded and defeated, until it gently deposited him in a calm, quiet pool. He lay there for a long time, his body aching, but his pride hurting far more. From that day forward, the crocodile was changed. He swam with a shorter, stubbier tail. He was no longer the fastest creature in the water, and his thunderous boasts were replaced by a heavy silence. The fish, once his terrified victims, now swam more freely. Their fear lessened. The birds soared overhead without a second glance. The river itself seemed to flow with a knowing, quiet patience, its message clear to all. Pride and trickery carry a heavy cost. The crocodile had learned a harsh and permanent lesson. Cleverness is a gift, but arrogance and greed will blind even the wisest. He learned that no single creature, no matter how strong or how cunning, can truly control the great forces of nature. Respect is something you earn through wisdom, not something you take by force. And so, the river continues its journey, carrying life and lessons through the forest. The crocodile remains a part of it, still a formidable hunter, still clever, but now humbled. He carries the memory of his folly in his very body, a constant reminder of the day he tried to fool the river and lost a part of himself. To this day, crocodiles are watched with caution, their powerful tails a symbol of both their strength and their ancient lesson in humility. And the river flows on, forever teaching all who listen that pride will always, eventually, have its fall. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales from the wild. See you next time.